This week on Us Weekly Style Files, New York Fashion Week brought out some interesting celeb looks.
Off-duty model style, great. She wants to be warm, she wants to be cozy, and she looks a little cool.
And award-winning costume designer Donna Zakoska from The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel sits down with us.
I just thought it would be like a little bit more fun. It should be sexy and fun at the same time, which is what I've always tried to do with Midge.
Yeah. Plus, Channing Tatum is going all natural for Magic Mike 3. We've got that plus so much more on today's Us Weekly Style Files. Hey guys, Christina Garibaldi here with the always stylish Gwen Flamberg, Us Weekly's beauty and style director, and senior reporter Travis Cronin. Hi guys, how are you?
Hi, so good.
So good. Fashion Week has been so much fun.
Yes, so much fun. So let's get into it. Let's break down the good, the bad, the wacky looks in case you missed it. So let's kick it off with the woman that everybody's been talking about over the past few days, Julia Fox. So on Valentine's Day, she fittingly wore all black on the runway for the Laquan Smith show. Of course, earlier this week, Haruf confirmed to us that she and Kanye West have gone their separate ways, saying Julia and Kanye remain good friends and collaborators, but they are no longer together. Can't say we're surprised about that, but let's talk about her look. Is this a hit or a miss?
Guys, I was at that show. I have never been so happy to have a front row seat at a fashion show than I was last night at Laquan, because the crowd went wild when Julia Fox opened the show in this incredible gown with cutouts, showing a little bit of under boob. I gotta say, she looked fantastic. Mm-hmm. Her makeup was very golden, maybe just a little bit too golden, but all in all, I mean, that girl's body, just incredible. I did hear that backstage, she was a little bit sullen and didn't want to talk to anybody. Also, she was seated right near Amelia Gray Hamlin and ex-Scott Disick, some like insider K-Dash world scoop.
Love it.
Gwen, maybe you can say she looked a little bit nervous to me when she opened the show. She looked excited, but it was very Ramona Singer from the Housewives of New York when she had those crazy eyes walking down the runway. She knew that this was her moment, and I felt that red on her face and in the walk. And while I love the dress, I love all of Laquan Smith's clothes, it just looked a little pressed. She looked a little nervous. I wanted to tell her to calm down, so she looked good, but it was a miss on, the runway, the modeling for me.
Yeah. It's girls has a lot to deal with this week, I guess.
Very fair point. She is the lady of the moment. She knows everyone's going to be talking about this. So obviously there's pressure. Definitely.
All right, let's move on to Katie Holmes, because she has come a long way from her jean shorts and flannels on Dawson's Creek. The actress wore this monochromatic white suit for the Alice and Olivia show. Hit or miss. I mean, I think Katie Holmes can do no wrong in my book.
Agree. I mean, I think that she looked super chic. My one criticism would be that it was a little bit safe. Fashion week, it's like everybody kind of really brings it. And this was very sedate, but it looked great on her body. It fit very well. I think she looked and felt confident, and she's a gorgeous woman.
Yeah.
I agree. I think that Katie Holmes' fashion is so attainable. It's really easy for normal people out there to recreate Katie Holmes' look. You can buy them at whatever store is down the street, for better or for worse. So I agree with Gwen. It was a little safe, but still she looked incredible. And like I said, this is you can go to any department store and pull this look together and look chic at any event.
Yeah, totally agree. All right, next up, let's talk about Bachelor Nation's Tyler Cameron. He wore a black pants and a cream sweater at the Daily Front Rose New York Fashion Week party. So what do we think? Do we think he's becoming a bit of a style icon since his time on The Bachelorette?
I think he'd like to be.
All right.
I think he looks kind of great in that outfit. I love a pair of skinny jeans with a midi length blazer.
Yeah.
I thought he looked chic. He looked cool. I mean, Tyler C is not going to be like getting any fashion awards. That's for sure. But he looked hot.
Yeah, Tyler C looks better in a pair of underwear to me. This look was just, He's a great underwear model. He's a great looking guy. This outfit to me was just sort of the guy at a wedding. It was just fine. There was nothing special about it. I thought the tan camel colored sweater looked really luxurious. It looks like cashmere, but I mean, this look isn't hard to pull together. I couldn't be less inspired by it. So a grade A for the face and the body. I'd give the outfit a strong C.
Sorry, Tyler. Better luck next time. All right. Well, let's talk about one of Tyler's exes. I totally forgot that he dated Gigi Hadid, but that was a while ago. But she was spotted leaving a fashion show in a wintry look, a puffer cropped coat, and a blue marbled pants. What do you guys think?
I think about their relationship every day, Christina, because their third date was to Gigi's grandmother's funeral.
That's right.
And I will never forget that their third date was to her grandmother's funeral. That is rent-free in my mind. This was great for being freezing in New York. It's a big puffer jacket. The leggings are cute, off-duty model style. Great. She wants to be warm. She wants to be cozy, and she looks a little cool.
I totally agree with that. I mean, I got to tell you, when I stepped outside my apartment to go to Fashion Week, and you have to understand, as editors, we're running from show to show to show. I felt like I was getting a cryofacial in the street. It was freezing out. And, those models going from show to show, it's even crazier for them. So, A+ for the cute designs, leggings. I'm glad she was wearing a puffer because she's a mom and she's got stuff to do beyond fashion. So stay healthy, Gigi. I thought it was a win.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Moving on to Alicia Silverstone. She wore a tiny little lace black dress at the Christian Siriano show. So what do we think about this? Hit or miss?
Oh my God, I loved this dress. I think Alicia Silverstone is so beautiful at any age. This dress was sexy. You could see her underwear a little bit. It was perfect for Fashion Week, a little bit out there, a little bit risque. And she looks gorgeous. She's the hottest woman in the room in this dress. And I think she looks great.
I do think that she's gorgeous. And I do think that at her age, she looks absolutely smoking hot, incredible in that dress. But I'm going to say that if you're not walking the catwalk, you should not be wearing see-through fashion during Fashion Week. Leave that to the models and to the designers' collections. For me, it was a little bit of a mess.
A little bit of a mess.
She was a little naked.
She was a little naked. Yeah. Definitely showing it off. Speaking of girls that are showing it off, let's finally talk about Tayshia Adams. She rocked a pink latex looks for the Alice and Olivia show. A lot going on here, a lot to unpack. Gwen, what did you think about this?
I mean, I loved the color for Alice and Olivia, which is always about over the top kinds of rainbow colors and whimsical style. I mean, I agree with you. It was a bit much, but it was very apropos for that show. Sure. And hey, her legs looked incredible.
Yeah, it's very Xenon the Sequel, Disney Channel, hot pink space a little bit. I think it's really important to reiterate that this is the Alice and Olivia show. Like Gwen said, she is a rainbow explosion. So if you're going to wear this toddler-like pink latex outfit, that is the perfect place for it. And while I thought she looked a little like a cool 13-year-old, like going to her bat mitzvah, I appreciate the effort she put in.
Definitely. All right. Now we have style that made headlines this week, and we have to share the story about Channing Tatum talking about Magic Mike 3. So he said that this time around, he's planning to skip his waxing sessions, revealing to Jimmy Kimmel this week that he is making the executive decision to go all natural for his third installment, saying, "We are going to change the times and I'm not going to do the whole waxing thing. I think we're really going to go natural at times." Of course, we know that he's normally smooth and oiled up for the past two movies. So what do we think? Are we a fan of all natural Channing? Can Channing do no wrong in our books? What do we think about this?
I mean, all Channing all the time. I just died over that V spread. The fashion was incredible. Him and his he's like, he looks incredible. His body looks incredible. If women can not shave their underarms as a statement, hey, Channing, like, go natural, give it to us. I hope that Zoe Kravitz likes him with a lot of hair. I'm all for it. I like a hairy guy.
Yeah, and it's not like he's, Robin Williams furry. It's not, he doesn't have crazy hairy knuckles, so that's great. What I saw when I looked at this spread was the Zoe Kravitz influence. Zoe Kravitz looks so laid back all the time, so cool. She is Brooklyn personified cool girl. And I saw more of that in Channing this time, where he was wearing more sort of basics clothes, but they looked really cool on him. And I'm going to give all that credit to Zoe.
Oh yeah, totally. Zoe is definitely rubbing off on Channing. So can't wait for Magic Mike 3. Okay.
Oh yeah, give me 4, 5, and 6.
Yes, seriously, keep them coming. In today's Style Secrets from the set, we sat down with costume designer for the Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, Donna Zakowska, who broke down Midge's style evolution. Take a look. Congratulations on another season of the Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. I was lucky enough to get a sneak peek at a couple of the first episodes, and it is fantastic. I love the style that you were able to bring to the first couple episodes of this season as well. So how would you say that Midge's style has evolved since season 1?
Well, I think it's evolved in the way that the period has evolved. It's sort of subtle, but we're like entering 60, 61. So the shape of the hats, like introducing some more dramatic sort of 60s hats. It's a very transitional period, and I very much wanted to deal with that because there's a little bit of like the essence of the 50s, the curves, the sculpture, but now things are becoming a little bit more graphic and linear. And so it's finding that period from 59 to 61 before you hit the full-blown 60s. And trying to find that sort of transitional style for her, because I haven't seen that done that much. So it was very interesting for me to try to do that, actually.
Was that a challenge for you?
It was fun. It is a little bit of a challenge because you're really trying to set up this code of like how you're going to transition. And I think that, as I say, people just see this, this is the 50s and this is the 60s, but they don't really realize that always, in the change of every decade, there's a period where it's a little bit of both, I found that much more interesting than doing full-blown 60s. And we were also too early to do that. We're only 60, 61. So it's a little bit too early.
Yeah, definitely. In the first episode, Midge says that she is out for revenge this season. In her comedy sketch.
Right.
Well, does her style ever mirror the dialogue?
Well, I think emotionally it does a little bit. I know in that first outfit, it's a little bit more hardcore, the black outfit, but I put those little red elements in it, the red button, the little red, as I said, it's a little bit of like, wanting to spill just a little bit of blood there, you know what I mean? A little bit of like trying to sort of allude to her passion in a way about where she is. And then you see her walking down the street in that red trench, that was a little bit based on like a Catherine Deneuve trench, because now I've moved a little bit more into different iconic looks, out of the Audrey Hepburn, a little bit more beginning to work with Bridget Bardot and Catherine Deneuve. So a little bit pushing out. So definitely, the clothes should reinforce the dialogue. There's no question about it. It really should be at one.
I love that. I love the cab scene in the first episode where she's stripping down her look. I mean, what was the process in coming up for that look? And, do you and Rachel collaborate together to make sure that she is comfortable in her looks? Because she's, stripping down to her underwear pretty much.
Well, absolutely. We fit everything very carefully. And I wanted that to be a little bit of a surprise. We actually, constructed that undergarment. And I couldn't quite find the fabric. I thought it was perfect. So we printed it. I found a sort of floral print from the 60s. And then we printed it on a sort of lingerie mesh. And then it sort of had the detail of near the lower part, a little bit like bloomers. It was actually a piece of research I found in a Vogue. So I just thought it would be like a little bit more fun. It should be sexy and fun at the same time, which is what I've always tried to do with Midge. It's like an undercurrent of being sexy, but always that sort of funniness about it. And that we fit that, at least had 2 fittings to try to get that right, because we knew she was going to be pretty exposed here. So it was important that she felt comfortable in it.
I love that. It was such a great scene and such a great look. Is it true that I think you said like 95% of the wardrobe from the series is constructed from scratch via a sketch? Is that still the process of how everything kind of comes together? And do you and Amy and Daniel kind of all sit down and collaborate, or do you just bring them your sketches and, kind of tell me how it works?
Well, for principles, without question. 95% of that clothing is designed and built. I mean, extras, it's more a little bit of gathering and putting things together because we had 9,000 extras in season 4. So you know what I mean? It's quite large. What I usually do is come up with the ideas, and I start thinking about color, come up with the ideas, create boards, and then I'll ask them to come to the studio, and then I'll walk them through, and see, how they feel about it. And usually it's quite a good chemistry. I usually have a good sense of what it is they're looking for. But I always sort of introduce it to them before, they see it on set, so that in a way they know what to expect and what they're going to be working with.
All right. For much more on Donna, check out her book, Madly Marvelous, The Costumes of the Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. What are you guys thinking about the fashion so far this season? I don't know if you caught the first couple episodes, but, Donna said that she's kind of bringing her into very early 60s looks. So it's like a kind of like a weird transition from the late 50s to the 60s. But I think so far she's hitting it out of the park as usual.
I love it. I love Rachel Brosnahan. I love Midge Maisel. I love that moment in New York. I think that the sets, the fashion, they tell a story as much as any of the characters. And I'm like over the moon. I'm so psyched. Mrs. Maisel is back.
Yes.
I agree. Rachel is one of my favorite style icons not on the show. She's a very monochromatic, very ladylike. She always looks very sophisticated. And her character, Midge, transitioning from 50s fashion to 60s fashion is a big leap, right? It is very conservative, buttoned up. And now we have mini dresses introduced. Everything's changing. But Midge, best character dressed on television. I live for her. I love that show. Give her the Emmy. Congratulations to everybody.
Definitely. All right. Well, Gwen, let's get into what is in your beauty bag this week. So what product have you discovered this week that we all need to get our hands on?
Guys, Benefit is extending their Real franchise to an extreme long wear precision eyeliner. It's called Their Real Extreme Precision Liner. And I got to say, I'm not sure if you guys can see.
Oh, I can.
Yeah. But I have got a cat eye, and I can never, ever do my own cat eye. This is not a joke. Sometimes I can do one side and not the other. I can never get it sorted without it bleeding and going all over the place. I have a very deep set eye, so I always kind of get this little crease there. This is the only product I have ever used where I've been able to do my cat eye for 3 days in a row perfectly on both sides. And the other thing that I love is that it comes in the standard black, but it also comes in brown. And I am a brown cat eye fanatic. It's really hard to find a brown liquid eyeliner. So kudos to Benefit for Their Real Precision Liner, Extreme Precision Liner. I extremely love it.
I love it. Gonna have to get my hands on that one. All right, let's move on to our red carpet rewind, and we are saying goodbye to Julia Fox and Kanye West. It was a short-lived romance, but they gave us definitely some red carpet moments in their time together. So, do you have a favorite red carpet look of theirs? A favorite Fashion Week look of theirs?
Absolutely not. My favorite look is that they are no longer together and they are no longer a plague on the fashion industry. It all felt so desperate, so performative, and just sort of everything that's wrong with fashion. You want to express yourself through fashion, not try to play a part and be someone you are not all the time. And every look on both of them, I don't like anything.
That heavy, crazy black eyeliner from the Schiaparelli show during Paris Fashion Week will haunt my dreams forever. I'm so glad it's over.
Yes. And that Schiaparelli show was my favorite of the season. And all I could think of is her charcoal Crayola liner. Ugh.
Well, that chapter is officially closed. Please let us know in the comments if you guys are going to miss Julia Fox and Kanye West's fashion moments, and if you guys had a favorite. We'd love to hear from you. But
we'd love to argue with you.
We'd love to argue. Please send us everything. Well, Travis, Gwen, thank you so much for running down all things style with me as always.
Yes, of course.
Bye, guys. See you next week.
See you next week, and check back every Thursday for Us Weekly's Style Files. Bye.